All right. So if you're here right now, please invite your friend, get your friends to jump in, get your friends to join in. Deborah, it's good to see you and it's good to have you here. I hope that you can hear me clearly. All right. So, um, so everyone that is yet to be live, they need to jump in right now. So let me send a reminder to everybody that we're live so that they can all jump in. So while we are doing that, okay. So while we are doing that, I don't want to turn on recording yet so that, okay, so, okay, good. So now everything is working fine. I can see everything working clearly on YouTube as well. So I just needed to be sure that that is fine. All right. So let me send a reminder to everybody that we are live. If you have friends that you need to join this webinar, please inform them right now that we are live so that they can join in. It's going to be really, really exciting. There's a word for somebody, there's some things for someone here, and that person needs that today. All right, all right, all right, all right. So again, you are welcome to this webinar. Let's quickly take, while we are waiting, let's see, while we are waiting, let's have this short video. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Great, 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 great. So I've done the parts that I need to do. I've done everything I need to do from my end here. And it looks like everything is working fine. So welcome everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome to this webinar. It's good to have you here. It's good to have everyone here this evening. In case you're just getting to meet me, I am Dayo Samuel. In case you're just getting to meet me, I am Dayo Samuel. And tonight, the video does not have sound, right? All right. I am going to figure out a way to get it to work as we go on. All right. So please forgive me for that. I didn't know that there was no sound, but it's good that you have told me now. So I'm going to get that to work as we go on. So please forgive me for that. All right. So now that we are live, I would like us to get started with a little activity here. And that is for you to So if you are new here, please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are. Let us know where you're tuned in from. Just share with us who you are, where you're tuned in from, and what you do so that we can all meet you. So please go ahead, just type in the chat your name, who you are, what you do, and um, just just give us a brief info about yourself. Just please go ahead, do that, do that, do that, do that. Let's just do that. So introduce yourself, tell us who you are, where you're listening from, or where you're joining this webinar from. Just share that with us briefly in the chat. Or if you want to talk, I can actually allow you to unmute yourself to share via voice if that is comfortable for you. So at this point, you can actually unmute yourself if you want to. So you can unmute yourself and simply share with us where you're tuned in from, where you're joining this webinar from. I would like to hear from you. So please go ahead and unmute yourself. Favor, where are you joining this webinar from? Michelle, good to have you here. Where are you tuning in from? And Deborah Adiola, please, where are you tuned in from? Just share with us. Sylvester is my team member. That's our admin. Okay. Michelle says, joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Adiola Shine says, Ibadan. Ibadan is in which country? Nigeria, right? All right, all right, all right. Amazing. I'm Favor joining from Ibadan. The Brown joining from Lagos. Amazing, 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 amazing. I believe our team has already or is now reaching out to others so that they can join in as soon as now. I believe they are reaching out to others who registered for this webinar so that they can join in. All right, so without wasting time, I intended this webinar to be short, to be straight and direct to the point. So this is what I'm going to do right now. We are going to run straight through to this. And by the way, if you can see the transcript on screen, um, okay, so if you can see the transcript, that is, if you can see what I am saying as I am saying it, please type in the chat so that I know that you can see what is going on the screen. And that is particularly for those who prefer to, who like to use captions in videos. Those of us who watch movies with captions, that is very, very good for you, all right? So at this point, I'm sure that the caption is okay. Okay, Favor says the transcript is working. All right. Diola says the transcript is seeable. All right. So let's do a quick poll right here. I would like for you to, I'm going to put a question on the screen right now, and I want you to just choose an answer. The answer is going to come from all of us in this webinar right now. So please go ahead, select an answer. There's a question on the screen for you right now. Please select an answer from the questions. Tell us which of these categories do you identify with? Share, just pick an answer from there. Just pick an answer from there. Just pick a category that you think resonates with you, that you identify with. Amazing, 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 amazing. Amazing. So there are 4 persons have filled. We are waiting for 2 more persons to do that. And as other persons join us, we are waiting for them to also get that done. All right. So we are 100%. Amazing. So from the answers right now, based on what you have picked just now, and thank God that the goal was for it to be 1 minute, and now it's 1 minute. Now, from the answer that all of us have picked individually, you can see it says, which of these do you identify with? And employee and working class seem to be 50% of the attendance tonight. In this webinar right now, there are 50% of you are actually working. 33% of you are entrepreneurs and founders of maybe a business, a company, and I think just 17% are students. So maybe 1 or 2% are students or so. That's very, very okay. That's very, very good. So if you have answered that, it means you are in the right place, especially if you have some fears that you are currently dealing with in your life. And I'm glad that you are here this moment, because this is going to be part of those sessions that you will always remember every single day going forward. All right, so let's jump right, let's move right on. Let's go right on. So here's what we'll cover in this webinar this night. We'll look at what form of webinars, what form of fear is stopping you from success. We will look at why most fear tips or content you consume don't work. And by the way, it's not your fault. A lot of times people think that the reason why the content they are consuming is not working for them. Of course, a lot of people will consume. So maybe you've watched videos, you've attended classes and all that. We'll look at why those things have not been working. Number 3, we'll look at 5 steps to overcoming any fears, worries, or anxieties that you have. And then we'll go from there to how to develop a process for achieving any result you want to get, so that fear does not stop you. Now, I've put all of this together so that it can help you break through fear that seems to hold you back. Now, here is, we are going to actually do a specific case study. In this webinar, we'll look at how overcoming performance anxiety can lead to making more sales. Do you get that? Can lead to making more sales. So we are going to be covering all of these, and I want you to get your paper and pen, because you are going to be learning a lot of stuff this webinar. So here are messages that I've gotten from different persons who have attended or been or experienced or enjoyed some of the things that I've shared in the past before. Here somebody says, I learned from your post to thank for the session you had with me about the whole anxiety thing. And here is another person says, this week I faced some fears and initiated some conversations at work with senior colleagues where I would have previously been afraid. I'm saying in my mind more. I also stepped out of the house today to go for a men's seminar at Lekki. Unlike previously, that I would be scared of fellow men and situations. And here is another person. This person said that what was more shocking was that I didn't expect to know certain mysteries surrounding my marital life in a class dealing with fear. Imagine. I hope that after today, I'll be comfortable with guys that seem to have it all without feeling left out and useless in the relationship. So I don't know, whatever it is that may be your problem, or maybe whatever fear it is that you are currently experiencing. I'm here to let you know that from this session, you are going to leave here with a plan. You are going to leave here with a step-by-step strategy that's going to help you overcome any fear. And more importantly, I'm going to show you examples and case studies that we have had to work with over time. All right. So let me quickly ask you this question here. Now, I want you to put a picture to your mind right now. Now, in between you and success, in between you and a goal that you set for yourself, in between you and an achievement you are trying to go after, there is always this gap. That gap is filled with fear. And a lot of times, we don't know what to do in order to ensure that that fear gets away. If you have experienced that, please type yes in the chat. Type yes in the chat. That is, you set a goal, you had a mission, you had something you want to accomplish, and you literally wanted to accomplish it by all means, but somehow between the moment you set the goal and the time that you are going to achieve it, there's this gap that filled your mind with a lot of fear. There's this gap that made you feel as though a lot of things were not going to work for you, we're not going to work on your behalf. So if you have experienced that before, please type yes. Please type yes in the chat. Type yes in the chat. Let me know that's oh, great. So I can see a yes. I can see a yes. Good, 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 good. So it means I'm not the only one who this has happened to before. I remember back in 2012 when I first um, decided I was going to launch a podcast. And I remember telling that story today in an Instagram live session that I was having with someone today. And I said I was going to have a podcast February 28th, 2012. But I could not publish a single episode of the podcast until June 2014, meaning that it took me 2 straight years, 2 complete years. In fact, I launched the platform that was going to host the podcast in March 2014, exactly 2 years after I conceived the idea of having my own podcast. So I don't know about you. Between that time, what was basically going through my mind was the fear of what if it fails? What if my parents listen to me? What if somebody listens to it and doesn't like it? What if this? What if that? And all of that were going on in my mind. And you know the interesting thing, the person I was doing session with today asked me, he said that, did your parents listen to it? What did they say after they listened to it? And I said, to be honest, till today, no, my parents did not listen to my podcast. Till today, they have not even listened to my podcast for once. But I was there busy having that fear. So if you are like me, there's this gap between you and success. It may be that you want to make more money in your business. It could be that you want to go ask for a raise. It could be that you want to make some things happen for yourself. But somehow there's this gap between you and that thing you want to go after. And this gap is there. You can't erase that gap. The interesting thing is that as long as you don't take care of that gap, that fear is feeling, that gap is going to continue to be there as long as possible. So what do you need to do? How can you overcome that? Now, the interesting thing is that when fear fills that gap, it actually takes many forms. Now, some of the forms it takes is the fear of failure, anxiety. It takes the form of timidity. It takes the form of superstition. It takes the form of loneliness. So you may find yourself, you are just lonely simply because you are not interacting with people, or you are not relating with the kind of people that are supposed to help you get to the result you are looking for. And then worry can also be another form of fear that stands in between you and the success you're trying to get. So it could be control. You want to control everything. You want to be in charge of everything. It could be cowardice in the sense that you are not bold enough to go after the things that truly matter to you. And it could be hesitancy. So you could be delaying taking action. You could be delaying making a decision. And interestingly, it could also be doubts. Doubt is another way fear comes in between you and the success you want to get. It could also be indecision. You are not able to decide. And more importantly, this one, they hit a lot of people plenty, 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 plenty. And that's a part of procrastination. A lot of people don't know that fear is a form of procrastination. A lot of times, the reason why people don't do the things they want to do when they blame procrastination is because fear is one of the feelings they are having when they are not making that choice to do the things that they really want to do. Another form that fear takes is withdrawal. So you begin to withdraw from people. You begin to, and by the way, it could also be a form of addiction anyway. Fear also takes a form of addiction. For example, there are people who are addicted to certain things simply because they are afraid of people getting to know that they do that thing. And as long as you continue to feel as though when people catch you or when people know that you are doing that thing, that fear of people catching you will make you be addicted to that habit, to that behavior that you want to do away with. And by the way, anger, rage over aggression is also another form that fear takes. So you have this goal before you, and anybody that comes in your way, the only way you know to deal with them is to shout at them, to scream at them. Now, this often happens when you are the boss. This often happens when you are the manager. This often happens when you are the organ at the top, and there are people who are reporting to you. And it could be that for some people, it could even be that this is to your spouse. You could be practicing silent aggression, where you are not actually talking, but you are just angry with them. And then fear can also take the form of complexes, whether inferiority or superiority. Fear is the reason why some people will feel they are superior to others, and fear is the reason why someone will say that I am inferior to another person. As I explained in the session I had today, as I had to explain to someone about having a balance between this inferiority and superiority, is having a healthy estimation of yourself, and then a healthy estimation of your importance. Estimation of yourself is to you, your importance is to other people. But anyway, as we go on, I'm going to explain that a little bit more. Now, another way form that fear takes is that of suspicion. When you are suspecting that it is your village people that are doing you, it's basically coming out of fear. Then depression, especially when the depression is not clinical yet, is a form of fear. Social shyness, social anxiety, the list could go on. Now, if you have identified any of this as something you currently experience, please type yes in the chat. You don't need to mention what you experience, but please type a yes in the chat so that we know that, okay, this is not peculiar to Dayo Samuel, who has experienced a lot of them before. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So I'm saying yes, is great, 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 great. So the question I want to ask right now that you are aware that, okay, these things are caused by fear, the question I like to ask is, I'm sure that this is not the first time we are attending a class on fear. This is not the first time we are attending a webinar on fear. Well, it could be a first time. May not be the first time you're actually watching a video or you are listening to somebody talk about fear. The question is, why haven't those classes, why haven't they worked till now? Why is it that the fear tips that you will see on Instagram, the fear tips you see online, or maybe those people who tell you to do it afraid, those people who tell you to do it anyway, or all these motivational things that they tell you, why haven't they worked up until now? Again, I'm going to remind you here that the reason it's not your fault is the fault of the person who's creating that content, which is where fear resolve is different from every other type of program out there. Now, let me use this to explain to you. Now, if you look at this screen right now, you will see two images, right? You'll see I kind of labeled them. I said, this is guru and this is guide. Now, guru, the first image is the image of a human head. The second is also the image of a human head. But you will notice something that the first image, this one to this left, externally, there is dryness, there's dry leaves. And externally, the shell is covered with green grass, right? For this one, you'll notice that externally it's not looking as beautiful, but internally it's succulent. There is green grass internally. Now, I'm going to use this to explain the concept of guru or guide to you. Now, there is fear on the inside. Somebody is experiencing fear. But you know the interesting thing that happens with a lot of content that we usually consume? Those content are coming from the place of, okay, let's decorate this person. So they put this green grass on top of that person, and inside there's still the root of the fear not taken care of. So the root of the fear is still deep within, not taken care of. It's just there. Nobody is addressing that, and they expect that, okay, because this fear is just there, let's just leave it like that. It's just going to be there. One day, this person is going to overcome this fear, and this person is going to be free from their fears. But you know the interesting thing? There's also a different style. The different style is that we go inside and work on the things that are creating the fear and replace the fallow ground with a fertile ground. We replace the dryness with green grass and let the resolution come from inside out. And I'm going to explain that to you. So, for the person who usually come from the point of, for the person who usually come from the point of a guru will most likely come from the point of I know best. That is, the guru will tell you, I know best. This is the best approach to overcoming your fear. But a guide will tell you that no, you know the best way to overcome your own fear because your fear is peculiar to you. A guru will tell you that, will tell you the way what to do to overcome your fear. But a guide will help you find your way, will help you to navigate how to overcome that fear. So you'll notice that a lot of gurus give advice. They you tell them that you have fears, and the next thing you hear is they start giving you, okay, this is the first thing you need to do, this is the next thing you need to do, this is the first thing you, this is the next thing you need to do. And at the end, you are confused from all of the different advice that they've given you. But a guide will empower you. A guide will most likely not even tell you what to do, but it will empower you to be able to find your own answers within you. The, the first thing I like to mention is that a guru will tell you that they have the solution, they have the recipe, they have the system. This is the only way that it can work. But a guide will tell you that, yes, I have a system, I have a method, I have a framework, I have a process that will help you. But the process will not work if you don't actually work it. But a guru will tell you that you just need to buy it. You just need to get this system. It will work for you no matter who you are and all that. But a guide will help you understand that no, it's not everybody that this thing can work for. It is customizable to you. And the guru will spend most of their time talking. A guide will spend most of their time listening and asking you questions. A guru will appear smart, strategic, and tactical, but a guide will help you uncover the wisdom that is within you, the wisdom that you already have within you. That is what a guide will help you uncover. Now, a guru will tell you that I have all the answers, but a guide will tell you, no, I don't have all the answers. Just as I always tell my people inside my classes and even in my webinars that I don't have all of the answers to your questions. In fact, I'm sure that some people here will probably have asked me questions before, and I told them that I don't know. Maybe I'll go and find out. Because I don't try to pretend that I have all the answers. And a guru can appear to be charismatic. So you know the interesting thing? A guide is most times conversational. So they help you and them, they get into a conversation and have this conversation where it helps you to uncover the wisdom that is within you. And a guru is the driver. But a guru is the driver in the sense that they are the ones driving you to get the result. So they push you very hard. But a guide will present you with a roadmap and then prod you along the way and get you to, let me push you, push you, push you at your pace, at your own time. How you are going to overcome your fear, it is not based on me, it's going to be based on you, but I'm going to guide you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to empower you. That is what a guide will always say. But the guru will tell you that they have all of the answers. So I want to welcome you to the real you. I want you to pay attention to two things now. The first thing is, which of these have you been before as a person, and which of them have you experienced before? Is it the guru or the guide? Which of them have you experienced before? I would like for you to share that with me in the chat, please. Okay, so at this point, I'm not sure I can see anybody. I just need to be sure that somebody can hear me. So what just happened? 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 I'm not sure I know what just happened. I'm not sure I know what just happened. I'm not sure I know what just happened. I'm not sure I know what just happened, but I can't see anything on my screen again. So if you can still hear me, please let me know that you can hear me. Please let me know that you can hear me. Me, I can't see anything on my screen here. I can't even see anything. All right. I have
We
an
can
idea,
hear
but
you.
so you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Can you see me on screen?
Can see you, I can hear you.
I can't see myself. I can't even see my Zoom anymore.
Wow.
Oh, okay. So I'm still live. The interesting thing is that I can't even see me on screen. I can't see anything on screen anymore. My screen just went blank. And I don't know what happened. All right. So while we are at that, at this point I want to pause. So while I'm trying to resolve that, I want you to share with me something that has flashed your mind in this webinar so far. Something that's flashed your mind in this webinar so far. Share that with me. Let me hear from you as well at this point. So while I'm trying to resolve the wahala of this screen, because I can't even see I can't see my, I can't see my slide. I can't see anything. I can't see anything. But the interesting thing is that I can actually continue. So I can go on. All right. So this thing is showing that I'm inside the meeting. All right. All right. All right. All right. So in case you can unmute yourself and talk, please use the chat box so that we can have this conversation here. So if you've had any similar experience to all of this, please share with me, let me know. Now, as we move on, I want to share with you why Fear Resolve has worked so far and what has made Fear Resolve one of the most interesting things that I have done in my entire life. Now, I must first of all tell you something here. Galileo Galilei once said something that I found very, very interesting, and I want to share it with you. Galileo Galilei said that we cannot teach anybody anything. And I'm going to repeat that we cannot teach a person anything. We can only help them find it within themselves. And I'd like to bring that to your attention that if you are currently experiencing fear in any area of your life, sincerely, I don't know what's on this screen. If you're currently experiencing any fear in your life, I can most likely guarantee that it's not about what you need, what somebody needs to teach you, but what you have within you that you are not already tapping into. It is about the courage and the confidence that's already resident within you that you are not able to bring to the surface. A scripture I always like to use to explain this to people is a scripture that says that wisdom is in the heart of a man. A man of understanding brings it out. Now, what I always like to explain to people is that wisdom is already in the heart of this man. There's a man that has understanding. This man that has understanding is working with this man that has wisdom within him. So, this man that has understanding helps this man that has wisdom within him to bring the wisdom to the surface so that the wisdom can become practical, can become actual, can become workable, can become something that they can work with in their lives. And I remember that that was something that Amaka Solomon experienced in class. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can see anything again on my screen here. I can't. Even Zoom is not opening. So this is very, very interesting. Zoom is not opening. Nothing is working. Everything is just frozen. But I can still see that the camera is still working. So hopefully, with that going on, that should be able to help us get some. All right. So Amaka Solomon said in class, Amaka Solomon came to class as someone who was confused and floating, doing a lot, but not achieving anything financially and otherwise. And she used to think that she had spiritual problem, what she referred to as spirit of confusion. I wish I can actually show you Amaka on screen, and this is it here. So this is Amaka Solomon here, and she said that now she's able to take her job seriously. Her fears were resolved even without her directly knowing. Some frames were also broken. Isn't that interesting? Imagine if you can have such story to tell from attending a class, which is why I'm going to be telling you about fear resolving in the next few moments. But before we get to that, I would like to also share with you from the outline that I created at the beginning of this session. I wanted to pick a note and I want to walk you through the 5 steps to overcoming any fear that you have, any fear at all. Whatever the fear is, there are 5 steps to take to overcome that fear. And I mean 5 steps to take. This is based on research that took me about 2 years to figure out. I started this research in 2000 and was it 2006 or 2017, and up until 2000 and I think 19 or so, that was when I was able to crystallize everything that I've been researching. I mean, when it comes to fear, I've read practically almost not everything, but I've read a dozen of stuff on fear in order to be able to understand fear and to be able to help people overcome fear. Hopefully, I just did something on my laptop now. I hope that it works. So in case it goes off, let me turn on my video here. In case it goes off, so that at least I can be sure that you can still hear me. Okay, just to be clear, maybe I might have to plug my sound. Okay, so can anybody? Oh,
Okay, so but can anybody hear me?
if
If you can hear me, please type yes in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me.
All right, all right. So based on what I'm saying here, it appears everything is still working. So there are 5 steps to overcoming any fear. My screen is having a heck of a trouble right now. And this is very interesting. This is the first time I'm actually experiencing this. I have a feeling it's because of the update. I did a Zoom update. I think in the last, I think I did a Zoom update. I think that's what's causing that. I think the update is not working fine. I think that's what must have caused that. All right. So my Zoom is logged out on my laptop, but it's still showing that I'm in. At least I'm still seeing the camera here. All right. So while we are that, let me walk you through the 5 steps to overcoming fear. And I want you to write down number 1. Take care of the scenarios that have gone on in your life. And I want you to write that down. Take care of the scenarios that have gone on in your life. Now I'm going to tell you everything, and then I'm going to explain them after now. Hopefully, before I explain them, before I get to explaining them, my laptop would have worked back. So the first step to overcoming any fear is to take care of the scenarios that go on in your life or that have gone on in your life. The second step to overcoming fear is to take care of the scripts that you have kept from the different experiences you've had in your life. And then the third is to manage the stories that are going on within you and the stories that you tell other people. I want you to note that down. Manage the stories you tell yourself and the stories you tell other people. I wish this thing can join from browser. If you can join from browser, it would have just made my life easier right now, because this is just not working. And number 4 is to manage your state. Again, number 4 is manage your state. State is spelled STATE.
And then number 5. All right. So at this point, I believe you should be able to hear me. So one thing I might have to do here will be please let me know if you please type in the chat right now that you can hear me. Please type in the chat box that you can hear me. Please type in the chat box that you can hear me. I need to be sure that you can all hear me. Please type in the chat box that you can hear me. I need to be sure. Now, my camera has switched to a different one. So my video has switched to a different camera. Okay. So you can hear me from, okay, good. So I've been able to bring back
All right.
all right.
All right.
All right. All right.
All right. All right. Okay, good. So at least now I can hear myself. Now I can see myself. This thing costs for us just the last few minutes. I had to force the software to shut down in order for a little bit embarrassing. I don't know why it did that, but it's okay anyway. Okay, good. So you can hear me. Can you still hear me right now? Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? All right. So please, everybody, let me know that you can hear me. Let me know you can please type in the chat box. Okay, yes, we can. Yes, we can. All right. Thank you, Madam, for joining us. All right. So again, I already walked you through 3 steps or 4 steps, right? The 4th step will be to create better strategy for handling that fear going forward. Now, most people who teach you about overcoming fear never walk you through a comprehensive approach to overcoming fear. So that's what I'm about to share with you right now. And so this is the 5-step process that I've just shared with you now. So let me explain them. Number 1 is the scenario that I just mentioned to you just now. A scenario is a sequence of significant, original, or imagined incidents that may have been traumatic or had some form of emotional impact on you. So this scenario, this incident happened and it was traumatic. I mean, it affected you in some way. So if you consider that right now, you'll notice that you actually probably grew up with a lot of scenarios in your life. A lot of things were happening as you were growing up, and those things become a part of you going forward. Now, the second step is the script. Now, when I explained script, I said that you should do what? You should take care of the scripts as well, right? Now, scripts are encoded memories, paradigms, beliefs that are associated with the scenarios in our lives. When a scenario takes place, that is when something takes place, we often create a script, we create a belief, we create a memory, we create a paradigm, we create some values that are associated with that particular incident, and then we hold on to that thing for the rest of our lives or for the time until we are able to develop better scripts for managing whatever it is that may have happened to us. Now, number 3 is that of stories that I said earlier on. I said manage the stories that go on within you or outside of you. Now, stories are the internal narrative we tell ourselves or others about our objects of fear or even ourselves. Stories are the things you narrate to yourself or the things you tell other persons. So, for example, if you tell somebody that I am anxious, that's a story. But interestingly, is that the one that you are actually saying is not as powerful as the one you are saying to yourself. In fact, the reason why you always get into a state of fear is because you told yourself something. You probably whispered something to yourself. And the moment you whispered something to yourself, it creates that fear. As I was explaining to someone today, I said faith and fear, as we are often told, they are not opposite of each other. Most times people say that faith is the opposite of fear, but you know the interesting thing? There's nowhere in the Bible where that is written, and there's no evidence for that in the Bible. what we can find in the Bible is that faith is an evidence. Fear is also an evidence. In every single scripture in the Bible, in order for somebody to actually fear something, they must have seen, heard, smelled, tasted, or felt something. That is what those are the evidences that you find in the scriptures that make them to feel fearful. For example, in Matthew 28, the man who was at the tomb of Jesus saw Jesus Christ, right? He saw the stone being rolled away by an angel, and the guy shook with fear. That's how the scripture said it. He said when the guy saw it, he shook with fear. That scene was the evidence he needed in order for him to become fearful. So a lot of times when we say that fear is the opposite of faith, it's not correct. Fear and faith are actually working together. In fact, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. The question I ask is, what is the end of that wisdom? If fear is the beginning, could faith be the end? Which means that faith is like, fear is the two of them are like ladder. Fear is at the bottom. Maybe faith is at the top. So as you climb, you walk far away from the fear and you walk more towards the faith. But you can't completely cut off the part of fear from that ladder. Once you cut off that part of fear from that ladder, the ladder just goes down. So it takes you back to the beginning state. That's what I wanted to understand. So when we talk about stories, story is what you tell yourself about your object of fear. And once you start telling yourself a story, it creates a state. And states are the combination of mental processes happening within us at any moment in time. And once this state is created, it creates a strategy. So you act out a behavior, which is an external evidence for something going on internally. I hope that is clear to you. So when I'm explaining to you that there are 5 steps to overcoming fear, number 1 is what? To take care of the scenarios that have happened in your life, which is something we will teach you and help you to do in Fear Resolve, and to also change the scripts that you've held onto all your life. Of course, a lot of us have memories, we have different beliefs, values that we've held onto for the past times in our lives. The interesting thing is that you can always rewrite whatever memory. In fact, coming from the angle of neuroscience, I know what is called image rescripting or memory rescripting, which means to rewrite memory with something better that empowers you going forward. So if you join the Fear Resolve process, these things we will walk you through, and we will walk you through the process of creating better scenarios or reworking the scenarios that have happened in your life, helping you create better scripts that you can work with in order to go forward, helping you manage the stories that are going on inside of you, helping you create better and to maintain better state every single day. Every single day, as you wake up, you are getting into a particular state of mind in the morning. As you go to bed in the night, you also get into a particular state of mind in the night. So you are constantly putting yourself into a state. This is something that we now do with Fear Resolve process. That every single day there's something you will be going through, there's something we will be giving you, and then we also help you develop the strategies required. Now, this is what I want you to understand here. Success and achievement is a system. Success and achievement is a system. A lot of times, many of us, we just think that in order to happen to success, it just happens suddenly. Sometimes we even think that develop the Fear Resolve as a process rather than as a motivation, rather than as you can do it. That people will. Now, by the way, I'm not against motivation. I'm not against inspiration. I just know that it's not sufficient to help people. It can provide temporary relief, but it's not a permanent solution. A system is a permanent solution to any problem, actually. The moment you identify the system that's powering a problem and you can optimize the system for better results, you get the result you are looking for. So here's what I want you to understand from here. A system is basically 3 parts: input, process, output. Something goes in, something works it, and then it gets the result. In science or in computer science, they say garbage as input, see, or with waste management process that is set up. For example, in waste management, water is what comes out, and then the other thing also come out. The feces also come out a different way. Input process, output. Once you can figure out the input, which a lot of us actually have. For example, many of us have goals. The goal simply sets the direction for what you want to achieve. So the goal is an input. The goal itself is not the result, it's not the output. The goal is just the beginning of the entire system of getting that thing. Now, there's a process. The process is basically habits or actions that you will need to take on a consistent basis that will ensure that you are making progress. Now, once you can take care of these habits and these actions that ensure that you are making progress, you can be sure that the outcome is guaranteed. You will realize the set goal that you've had for yourself. Now, I remember years ago when I used to read that John Maxwell said that success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal. I didn't understand when I was reading all those things until I began to study what it means to run with a system, what it means to work with a system. And so I began to understand that, okay, a goal is the beginning, is the input. The process is the progression. The realization of the goal is the output. But in order to get to the output, which a lot of us desire, because you know the interesting thing, a lot of us actually desire the output, but many times we don't work on the process. So you desire somebody who is courageous, you desire somebody who is bold, you desire somebody who can do anything they want to do at any time they want to do it. But you don't know that there's a process that got this person to that point. Now, this is how it works with the 5 things I just shared with you now. A scenario is the input, is the external event. The processes that go on internally is the script, the stories, and the state. These 3 things will constantly run. Every time you are afraid, you are either reminding yourself of something, telling yourself something, or you feel a certain way, and you will most likely behave a certain way. So once you can take care of the script, the stories, and the state, again, you remember I said that there are 5 steps, right? The first step is to take care of the scenarios, right? The second step is to take care of the script. The third is to take care of the stories. The fourth is to manage the states. And the fifth is to develop better behaviors, right? Now, if you don't take care of the script, the stories, and the states, you will continue to behave the same way you've been behaving even before you attended this class. I know the interesting thing, you can actually help yourself today. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, I want to bring your mind back to something we shared earlier on. I remember sharing with you that between you and the success, the goal you dream of, or the dream you have set, you have ahead of you, there's this gap that is filled with fear. Now, this gap that is filled with fear is going to be there as long as you don't identify a process to take care of that. So the goal could be there. The process that you may be running with could be fear, could be a process, or it could be any of the forms of fear that I've explained. It could be procrastination, it could be control, it could be anger, it could be withdrawal. You withdraw from people, you withdraw from the thing you want to do. You just went into your own shell. It could be anything. It could be any of those things that I've explained at the beginning as fear taking a form of itself, right? Now, you know the interesting thing, what if we can actually cancel out that fear? What if we can actually replace that fear with a process that helps you to actually go from the you to the success, the goal, and the dream that you set for yourself? And that is, if that is what you want, I want to type a yes in the comment right now. I want to type a yes in the chat box right now. If that's what you want, please type a yes. That is, you have a goal, you have a dream, you have a business you want to build, you have um, you want to go higher in your place of work, you want to achieve certain quality of result, but there's fear between you and that result. I want you to type yes if you want to actually discover, or you want me to show you a process that works. Please type a yes, please type a yes, please type a yes. Amazing, amazing. I'm seeing the yeses right now. Thank you for the yes. You can type more yeses so that we have more yeses, so that I'm sure that I'm speaking to the right kind of persons. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Now, a process is what stands between who you are and what you want to achieve. If you can, I want you to write that down. In fact, type it in the chat right now. In fact, type it in your WhatsApp status. Type it on Twitter. Post it anywhere. A process is what stands between who you are and what you want to achieve. Once you can figure out the process that can help you go from who you are or where you are to where you want to be or what you want to achieve, you will most likely end up at that thing without having a lot of wahala. And you know the interesting thing, your goal is a result you want to achieve. Working with a system is about the processes that take you there. And you know the interesting thing, because process is something that requires continuous progress. Mastery requires patience. Progress requires patience. Progress requires patience. Mastery requires patience. Process requires patience. So you can't rush it. You can't rush yourself out of getting the result you want. And by the way, you can own this process. And that's my goal actually with this webinar. I want you to be able to own this process like Damila Labode. Damila Labode said that I had light bulbs during the part where I knew that there is a scenario, pattern, states, and strategies to my fear. I felt if I could own or take control of this process, then I have nothing to worry about. I can do almost anything, everything I set my mind to do. Do you get that? That is, by the time Damila Olabode went through Fear Resolve, he was able to see how he could own that process. And anything he could set his mind to do, he knew exactly what to do to be able to get it. Or you could actually be like Elizabeth Akunyili, who is commonly referred to as Lisa Express. She said, Fear Resolve helped me understand why family has always been stress in my mind. I was able to identify why I developed a sudden phobia for family right after I found a loving relationship. And when the relationship ended, I was sad about it, but excited that I didn't have to take on family stress. This is one of the many clarifications I got from Fear Resolve. And this is the interesting thing with Fear Resolve. Now, I just talked about Lisa, right? This is the same Elizabeth here. I'm going to tell you the story of one guy. This guy here that you can see in this circle here. This guy standing here and also sitting on the floor here. Now, this is a regular Fear Resolve class. This is how Fear Resolve class usually looks like. And you know the interesting thing? Everybody who has been at Fear Resolve lives with a particular experience. Now, let me show you this guy. Now, by the way, if you are going to join us in Fear Resolve, I'm going to be giving you some bonuses. Bonus number one I'm going to be giving you is the Audacious Bundle, which is worth 161,000 Naira. This is a bonus I'm going to be giving you. It includes Canva tutorials, how to actually create epic designs using Canva, break the frame, 5 tips, no, it's not 5 tips, 5 steps to becoming everything that God wants you to become, something like that. That's the title. That's break the frame. The next one is profitable content creation strategies, how to actually create content that makes you profitable, that helps you to become profitable. Then how to start a podcast on your smartphone. Then Ready, Set, Go, which is the anti-procrastination plan that I created in order to help people go and overcome fear, overcome procrastination. And then you also get Blog with Excellence, which helps you to start, grow, and monetize your blog in 10 days or in 7 days, in 10 days or less. Yes, I'm correct. Now, Canva Design is a course. Break the Frame is a book. Profitable Content Creation Strategies is a course. How to Start a Podcast on Your Smartphone is a course. Ready, Set, Go, Anti-Procrastination Plan is a book and also a video. Blog with Excellence is a book and a course. And then you get this course, How to Become the Most Profitable Expert, which is also part of what you get when you enroll in the Fear Resolve process. And this last one is Stress Management Masterclass. Now, you are going to get all of these for free when you enroll in Fear Resolve. And by the way, this is only peculiar to just this webinar. So if you go to fearresolve.com, you won't even see this list there. What you will only find on that page is this. This bonus is worth 20K. So you get Confidence Unlocked, which is a 97 days program. You get Limitless Courage and Confidence. You get the audio book. You get the ebook as well as the audio book. So if you want to register right now, you can go straight to fearresolve.com. But rather than going, you can actually, this is with the offer I'm going to give you from this webinar this night. Remember, here you get 161K of bonuses plus another set of bonuses worth 20K. The interesting thing is that there's also another bonus that I'm going to add to it, which is called Ultimate Launch Template, and how to name anything. That is how to name your business, how to name your product, how to name your service, so that it can actually generate the kind of sales that you're looking for. I've been in branding since 2012. Yes, I'm correct, since 2012. So I've been in branding since 2012, and I've worked on quite a number of brands across the world, both in execution, conceptualization, consulting, strategy. I've worked on many of them. So the offer I'm giving you today is you can join Fear Resolve for just 20K. And this is the account-based payment tool. Dayo Samuel Research Multiversity Innovations Limited. And this is the back account. So you can write this down. Now, this is only available on this webinar. You can't get it even on the page. In fact, if you go to the page right now, you'll see that it's currently, Fear Resolve is currently 30K. So for you attending this webinar, you are getting it for just 20K rather than paying 30K, and you get all of these bonuses in return. Now, before we continue, I want to share Milton's Tutu's testimonial. And by the way, I still have one more thing to share with you. Milton said, Milton happens to be a coach and a consultant. He's currently the growth and marketing something in seller.ng. If you've ever used Seller before, this guy that you're seeing on your screen right now works in Seller. And I'm glad to say that he has passed through the Fear Resolve process. In fact, this is his picture right here. Let me show you his picture right here. You see this guy here, and this guy here. This is Milton right here inside class. So you see him, he's been in class. He says that before coming to class, he was overwhelmed by what he does. He had so much pressure and pain, he was turning down opportunities to help people because there was no clarity. But after attending Fear Resolve, he became fearless and he could face life with calmness and serenity. He was able to find his energy again, and his inner child was reawakened. So if you want to be able to find your inner child, you want to be able to find your energy, you want to be able to find calmness and serenity in your life and become fearless like Milton Tutu, join us in the Fear Resolve process. And by the way, let me quickly ask you a question here. So let me ask a question here. Let me stop sharing on screen and let me ask something here. So I want everybody to please pay attention now. I'm going to put up 3 questions on screen. I want you to pick an answer from those questions. So let's go. So it's now on your screen. Good. So I want you to pick an answer from each category. Number 1, I want you to look back at your past right now. Looking at your past, can you honestly say that you have leveraged every single experience? Yes or no? And I want you to pick an answer, yes or no. Have you actually, all the experiences you've had in your life, have you maximized all of those experiences? Those memories, those things that you can recall, have you completely maximized them? Number 2, looking at the present, are you completely satisfied with your life as it is right now? Yes or a no? And then the final question. Now, you know what just happened? I can't see anything on my screen again. That thing that happened has also happened again. But I can still remember the question. The question is, looking at the future, looking at the future, please, if you have not taken the poll, please look at your screen on your device. You most likely see a poll somewhere on the screen. Please open it up and pick an answer. So the third question is, looking at the future, are you confident that things will only get better if you continue exactly as you're going right now? So if you continue exactly as you're going right now, are you sure that things are going to go? Are you sure that things... Now, I want everybody to answer that question. We have just some seconds left. So please go ahead and answer that question. Please go ahead and answer that question. Please go ahead and answer that question. So I'm saying that we have a lot of no's rather than yes. We have a lot of no's than yes. That's quite interesting, which means that what you are doing right now may not help you get to the result you are looking for. So what if you can actually develop something better? What if you can develop something that can help you actually in the future? All right. So I believe everybody can still see me. Now, the worst part is I can't see anything on my screen. So I can't even see anything on my screen right now. And what happened that time has happened again. So let me just pretend I know what I'm clicking. Let me pretend I know what I'm clicking. Let me pretend I know what I'm clicking. I'm not sure. So at this point, so let me share the case study of how performance anxiety can lead, how overcoming performance anxiety can actually lead to more sales. And I want you to take note here. Now the problem is I can't even see. Right, all right. Okay, so my my screen is back. I don't know what happened. It just went off just now, and it's not network because I was still inside the meeting. All right, so let's look at this case study. How overcoming performance anxiety led to making more sales for this particular attendant of Here Resolve. Now, this is what I want to share with you first. What is performance anxiety, by the way? What is commonly referred to as performance anxiety? Um, the simplest way I would like to explain this to you will be that performance anxiety is when you have something you need to do. For example, when you are being thrown into the spotlight, when somebody or someone or you have a task you need to do and you need to be able to actually deliver on something that places a stress, places a demand on your capacity to perform. That is what performance anxiety is. So it could be maybe being in the spotlight. For some people, this may be maybe public speaking. It could be maybe having a webinar. It could be going live on YouTube or Facebook, on Instagram. For some people, it could be maybe sharing your ideas. For some people, it could be selling your market. It could be selling your product. It could be meeting deadlines. And because this is a performance driven activity, a lot of times these create a lot of wahala for people. It creates a lot of wahala for people. And the funny thing, many people don't know how to do it. Most people don't handle. Now, what causes performance anxiety, by the way? In my research, I found a few things that cause some trauma associated with performance. I'm not to like that. I like to be stop. So when I wanted to launch my podcast, the only thing I could recall was All right. Again, apologies for that disappearance that just happened. I don't know what led to that, but I just noticed that I just went off. I guess that must be internet this time around, not my screen. So as I was saying, I used to like to dance. I used to like to play around. I used to like to do a lot of things. But because my parents kept telling me to stop it, or to not do this, not do that. I would be dancing. They would tell me, you are disturbing the peace of Africa. You are disturbing the peace of this house and all that. That kind of created that performance anxiety. Anytime I want to step on stage, then before I resolved it, anytime I want to step on stage, I'll be afraid that. And I remember when I started my podcast, the biggest challenge I had then was, hope my parents will not listen to my podcast. Second cause of performance anxiety is deep-seated beliefs. When you have certain beliefs towards that particular task that you want to do. So, for example, sometimes performance anxiety is mixed up with procrastination. So you find that somebody is procrastinating simply because they believe that the person they want to do that task for is not worth what effort they want to put into that task. And so that begins to create a lot of anxiety for them when they need to perform, because what they want to do is performance based. And the third is that of negative mental images. Now, this happens to be something a lot of people experience. And this is the case study I want to share with you here. This is Dr. Dayo Samuel, CEO of Leku Trade Properties. Now, when he attended Fear Resolve, this is what he had to say. He said, after coming to Fear Resolve, he said, today I had a presentation with the staff of Promasido Nigeria, owners and manufacturers of cowbell milk. I usually have fears in doing such large-scale presentations. Can you see performance anxiety here? He said, thanks to the Fear Resolve process techniques, I killed the presentation as I spoke and presented with clarity, confidence, and the management already telling us to get ready for site inspections to seal huge acres of land. Now, this is Dr. Laide. I don't know about you. You may be experiencing some form of anxiety as well when it comes to maybe selling your business. And in fact, that's the part I want to emphasize. It could be that of selling your business. It could be that of making sales calls. It could be that of even asking people to buy what you are selling. I don't know, whatever it is that may be your own. But every single person has a fear. That's what I want you to always remember. All right? Now, let me ask you this question here. So at this point, I'm going to do a new share here. I'm going to share a new stuff here. So let me bring that up on screen for you. So let me share this with you here. All right. Okay, let me stop this. Let me be sure that it can that it's actually picking audio. Okay, good. All right. I want you to please listen to this. I'm glad that Fear Resolve is doing for people is to help them own their stories, both the internal stories they tell themselves and the external stories they tell other people.
It's been a wonderful experience because I realized that for you to overcome fear, you must know exactly the root of the fear.
And I must say I've been very impacted. I got to learn about myself and my fears, and I learned that it's okay to be afraid, but one must learn how to move forward from those fears.
So it was exciting and it's comforting, and you're feeling like as if I've achieved the goals that I'm still looking up to.
The process has been so wonderful. I've learned a lot, and presently I'm ready to overcome my world.
The classes have been, in one word, it has been reflective in the sense that I've been able to connect with some parts of me that I was not too sure that were there.
Over the years, I'm this kind of person that wouldn't want to stand here to talk. And I see myself as a shy person. I don't see myself as a confident one that really wants to relate that much with people. But coming to fear resolve,
It's actually an experience. It's more than a course or a training or something. It's not even just a program. It's an experience, and then so that takes you from where you are to where you should really be.
I'm always scared of it's not going to turn out right. So, but now I've overcome that stage of trying now, and it has been like that. Like this now, I just feel like just go out there and just do it.
during the whole immersion and all of that, I was able to let go of the past, and then I'm a new me now.
And one of the things that really caught my attention in the class was the fact that I was able to get into the deepest parts of myself and bring out certain things that I never knew was even there. It's now instrumental for my growth going forward.
Now, here's the interesting thing. Fear Resolve is not a motivational program. It is not even a teaching program. It's more of a conversation that we have that helps us dig deep into issues that we experience on a daily basis that results in most of the fears that we experience.
So I will recommend this class to everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're going through whatever. You don't have to be going through depression, or you don't have to go through anything to actually want to be in this class, because it is useful for everybody. So I'll recommend this class for you again and again. And
I am excited for the future of the participants of Fear Resolve, because I know that we are all going to look back to today and say, thank God I was in Fear Resolve. I would like to take questions. Questions do you have? What questions do you have? I'd like to take your questions at this point. So please go ahead and ask questions. Again, I want to repeat some of the things that I've shared with you so far. As we bring this session to an end, I want to bring to your attention again. If you join Fear Resolve only for this webinar, this is what I am adding to it for you. You are getting the audacious bundle worth 161,000 naira. That covers, or inside the bundle, you get how to design epic designs using Canva. You also get Break the Frame, both the PDF and the audiobook. You also get Profitable Content Creation Strategies, which is a course. You get How to Start a Podcast on your smartphone, which is a video course. You get Ready, Set, Go Anti-Procrastination Plan, which is a book and a video. You get the entire kit. You get Blog with Excellence Kit, which is a combination of a video and a course. This Blog with Excellence will actually show you how to start, grow, and monetize your blog in 10 days or less. And you will also learn how to become the most profitable expert by developing business strategies that help you to succeed with your business. You also get Stress Management Masterclass, which is also a video course that I've already created. You're going to get all of these, all of them worth 161,000 naira. You are getting it for just the price of just the payment of Fear Resolve. Now, this is the interesting thing. Aside from that, you also get this set of bonuses. You get Confidence Unlocked, you get Limitless Courage and Confidence, the PDF, as well as the audio book. So if you are the type of person who does not have time to sit down and read, you'll be able to listen to the audio book wherever it is you find yourself. And at this point, let me show you two other things that you will get so that you actually can see it physically, so that you can see it for yourself. So that doesn't appear like I'm just telling you a story. So at this point, I want you to ask any questions. If you want to ask any questions at this point, you are free to unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself. Let me turn that one up. Let me activate that so that everybody can easily unmute themselves. So if you want to unmute yourself, you can. Okay, good. You can now unmute yourself if you want to. So you can unmute yourself if you want to. So unmute yourself. I want you to ask questions from me. Ask me questions, whatever questions it is that you may have. Let's answer that. Let's do that right now. So please go ahead. Ask your questions. I have put my earpiece in my ear so that I can hear you. I would love if the question is spoken rather than typed, but if you want to type it, it's okay to do that as well.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Hello?
Good evening. I can hear you. Please go on.
Okay, thank you for this class. I want to take us back to the very beginning when you are, where's my paper now? Okay, when you are mentioning those things that indicate fear, you mentioned loneliness, superstition, depression, social shyness, among other things. But what actually piqued my interest is loneliness. How is loneliness connected to fear? Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you for that question. That is an intelligent question, and I'm glad that you asked it. So, now loneliness, how does it connect with fear? Well, this is how it works. Loneliness, you don't feel lonely except you are not relating with people. And when you feel lonely, it's often caused by the fact that you probably are afraid of associating with people. And in the context that I put it, I said loneliness is another form of fear, and it works this way. So let's say you want to be in a relationship, you desire to be in a relationship, you desire to have a relationship that actually works, and all that you are doing is just to isolate yourself from other persons. What happens to you? It means that you will most likely not have that relationship at the time you need to have that relationship, right? Are you getting me? Are you with me?
Yes, I am. I muted it earlier. I'm listening.
Okay, good. Now, what is stopping you from, or let me say, what is stopping that person from relating with people? What is stopping that person from associating with people? And by the way, loneliness does not mean aloneness. Loneliness means that you are still alone, even in the midst of crowd. Alone
Yeah.
means you are without people around you. Do you get it now? Now,
Yes.
loneliness in this context now results from you are in the midst of people. People are all around you, but you are still trapped in your own cage. You are still trapped in your own cocoon. You are still trapped in your own shell. You just want to protect yourself from the outside world. Perhaps something may have even taken place that made you to go inside that shell. And because you went inside that shell, you are finding it difficult to actually come out of that shell in order to relate with other people. Do you get it now? So it is that context that I'm referring to, that loneliness is another form of fear. On the surface level, the person is just alone. But at a deeper level, it is caused by the fact that this person is refusing, or sometimes is unable, because sometimes it requires capacity, especially in the context of social anxiety, which is something that now, okay, so that's something else that I'm going to add to this course for everybody. So everybody who attends who registers for Fear Resolve from this webinar, you also get social anxiety course, which is a course that shows you how to get past that feeling of loneliness, that feeling of aloneness, or so that you may be experiencing. All right. Thank you for that question. I hope that answers your question. Does it?
Yeah, I still need to get something right. So, are you saying that the loneliness you're talking about is stemming from the fear of that person mingling with people, as in they don't want to mingle with people because they are afraid, and so it leads to loneliness? Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry, I'm really trying to get you.
In your mind right now, does that look like what I'm saying?
Well, I think so.
So that's what I'm saying.
Okay, thank you. The
reason why I had to use your mind is because a lot of times in a class of 20, as I always say, 20 people will not understand the same class the same way. In fact, it's the reason why I had to explain the concept of guru and guide. A guru will want you to only get it from his own angle. But a guide will understand that, no, our interpretation, our filters are all different. And so the reason why I had to come back to saying that, how do you understand it? Or does it look like it? That's the reason why I had to switch back to that guide. And you know the interesting thing, that's
Okay.
also a way that you can use to combat fear. If you want to, when we provide help to people in order to help them go past their fear, we don't push ourselves on them. We don't rein like, "Okay, this is how you have to do it. It must always be this way." No, people have different experiences. And so sometimes that is what we allow. We just simply just let that happen on its own like that. Anyway, I wanted to show these bonuses you also get when you register. Number one is the ultimate launch course, ultimate launch video course. This is a launch template that I use myself. In fact, that's how I created the theory of process. It is what I use to get any idea of the ground, and then how to name anything, how to name your product, how to name your business or service so perfectly that it attracts actual buyers. All right. So at this point, I want to see if there are any other questions. Is there any other question? In case you can't unmute yourself or you don't want to unmute yourself, you can type in the chat box so that I can take your questions. Please let me know if there are any other questions at this point so that we can bring this webinar to an end. All right. In the absence of questions, again, I'm going to tell you, please go ahead, register for the fair resolve process. It's happening from next week. It's actually starting by Sunday. That's when it's starting. And it's running for 3 weekends. For 3 weekends. I mean, we meet once a week. You have tasks, you have activities you will do for the entire week. But more importantly, we meet once a week and then we get into a conversation, into a class like this for just 2 hours per week. And then we get to cover everything we need to cover. So what are you going to learn? What are the things that what's the curriculum like for Fair Resolve? Let me show you from this page here. So this is week 1. This is what we are looking at. Weekend 1, we are looking at your natural state. And for that natural state, we are basically focusing on the scenarios that created fear, the root cause of your personal fear. We are looking at your fear script. We are looking at removing mental and emotional blocks that hold you back. We're looking at your fear behavior sequence in practice. So what I've just shared with you, the 5 steps I've shown you today, we are looking at it in actual practice. We are looking at your life journey. We are looking at the timeline therapy, what we call timeline therapy, which helps you to go back in time to actually sort out things that may have kept you stuck. All right. There's also the brain workout sessions, which is the activity you do every single day. And then there's the daily diary, and then there are a lot of assessments that we are going to be running. Weekend 2, we are looking at replacing your old story with a new story. This is where we now begin to work on your critical inner stories. The way the way you talk to yourself and you criticize yourself internally, and then it creates fear for you and doesn't let you go forward. There are about 8 different personas that our inner voice takes. Sometimes it takes the persona of a taskmaster, and when it takes the persona of a taskmaster, he always wants you to be doing something in order to ensure that you are going forward. So anytime you say you are tired, for example, yesterday I had planned to go out. I could not go out because I was having diarrhea and I was having running stomach. And after going to toilet several times, when I say several times, at some point I could not count again. I was out of energy. So I lied down on the chair. And today I said I was going to rest. And then I slept off. And then somebody now called me around 2 o'clock today. Now, if you are going to be taking rest like that, your internal critic, your critical inner story could be telling you that you're not supposed to be sleeping. And by the way, sometimes this is what leads to the hustle culture that you see around. So the taskmaster comes and whispers to you or keeps telling you that you are supposed to be working. You're supposed to other people. That in fact, some people will even use scriptures to their critical inner story will be scripture. You say that when men slept, the enemy came and sowed tears, and they will now use that, and then they will now walk. But you know the interesting thing? By the second week, that is what we are going to be focusing on. We are going to be working on that, and we're also going to be changing your mental and emotional states that keep you stuck. We're also going to help you understand why you fear the things you fear, and then more importantly, to help you win the game of fear. And then this exercise here called fear reframing, where you are going to reframe the fear you have. There's a box that we teach. There's a 4-box quadrant that we teach, which is probability and impact scale, which helps you to understand that fear, you are going to reframe it using that box. Then we also look at letting go of past thoughts. Some of them are not actual teachings. They actually exercise. They are tasks that you actually carry out. Letting go of past hurts, anger, trauma, and pain. Then we also get into values elicitation, brain workout session. This values elicitation is going to be taught by somebody. They are going to soon see that person. And then week 3, we move into moving towards wealth and well-being. So after we've worked on your story, your scenario, and your state, we now work on your strategies. This is where we now begin to help you develop actual strategies in order for you to achieve your goals, to achieve your goal of wealth, of making more money. In fact, one of the key subjects that we are going to focus on is how to achieve your money goal.
All right. At this point, it appears that the listen went off. So okay, so I'm back now. Apparently, I guess it's time around because of the network that went off.
All right. So with that, the final thing we look at for the last week is basically that part of moving towards wealth and well-being, which is where we now look at how to achieve your money goals and developing new behavior strategies and reinforcements. By the way, these are the people who are going to be, these are the faculty. These are the people in faculty, myself, Fisayo, and then Tolushe Do Francis, who happens to be the director, the African director for World Federation for Mental Health. So he's part of our faculty for this particular. He has always been part of our faculty anyway. So at this point, I want to say thank you everyone for attending this webinar. Now, the offer for 20K is only available till Tuesday. So if you are going to be registering in Fair Resolve process, the 20K offer from this webinar and all the bonuses that I shared in this webinar is only available till Tuesday. So once Tuesday, 11:59 p.m. of Tuesday, that offer is gone. It goes back to 30K for everybody. Now, the people who do not attend this webinar, the people who are not going to watch this replay, they are not going to get it for that same price. The people who are going to watch this replay are going to get it for that same price, but only if it is Tuesday. Once it is 11:59 Tuesday, you can no longer get Fair Resolve for that price. You will get it for the full price. By the way, Fair Resolve normally is 65,000 naira. That's how much we usually charge every time people come to class when we have physical sessions like that. But this time we are doing it online so that we can help more persons in their homes get past, break free from the fears, phobias, and anxieties, worries, nervousness that keep them stuck, are not able to achieve their goals and dreams, are not able to get more in their businesses. So if that looks like you, I would like to help you. I would like to simply go to fairresolve.com or simply chat up. So Sylvester, please drop your phone number in the chat so that everybody has your phone number, so that I can also read it out for people. Let me see if I can find your phone number right now. That should be 0. So Sylvester, please type your phone number in the chat so that anybody who wants to register can actually reach out to you so that they can register. So Sylvester, please do that. Send it to everybody, not just to me, okay? Can we do that right now? Can we do that right now? So Sylvester, please share your contacts so that everybody can actually reach you. All right. So with that done, I want to say thank you again for joining this webinar. I am Dayo Samuel again, and I hope that this has been valuable to you. If it has been valuable to you, please get the replay, share it with someone so that they can also benefit. I'm going to see you next time. All right. So Sylvester has just shared his phone contact with everybody. At this point, I'm going to stop the recording.